viewers, thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television. It is Friday, 14th of January, the year 2022, the year that Kenyans have been talking about 5 years ago is here today. Good morning, viewers across the globe in Africa and in other planets, Venus, Mars, Moon. We don't know whether there are people there, but all of them, we greet you through the sounds and the airwaves that reach you. You can see communication. People are on Mars, but they communicate to us, Miriam. There might be people there. So good. There might be life. People are going as far as 50 million miles into space. So good morning, all of you across in Africa, in Kenya, in Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, Sudan, South Sudan, Asmara, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Egypt, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, back down Senegal, Gambia, Cote d'Ivoire, Dahomey. If I say Dahomey, some people don't know what was Dahomey. Burkina Faso, and the Wesonga, don't look at your phone first. I want everybody to be attentive so that I see who is picking the phone on Friday. I don't want people to check it and they tell me, yes, the answer. What was the name? And what is the current name of the country called Dahomey? It was called Dahomey. What is the current name? For the first time today on Friday, Miriam, I will allow people to check. You can check on your phone and tell me later on in the process. And I will be very happy. But for me, if you ask me, also next time, give me something surprising and test my brain when I'm able to. But I tell you, I assure you, if you will bet, I will get it right. So thank you very much, our viewers across Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, Central African Republic, Gabon. There you are, DRC Congo, Angola, Zambia. I'm drawing the map of Africa today. Mauritania, don't forget Togo, Ayandema, the founding father of Togo, Ayadema. You see, these are the things that we need. Wesonga is coming in now after checking. You know, I know what you have been checking. Thank you, Upper Volta. What is the country called Upper Volta? The current Upper Volta is Burkina Faso. You get the point? Don't look in this Google. Google things have brought chaos. That's why Makoha wants us to go back. Go back to CBC. Then we come down in Malawi, Mozambique. We come down to Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland. Look at the map of Africa I'm drawing. Zimbabwe, in the middle. Namibia, Walvis Bay, Cape Town, Port Elizabeth. We come back. Somalia, the headache of Africa, and the horn of Africa. I don't know why always people who have different heads, the horn, there's always a headache like a Ruto. Thank you very much. Good morning. The heads of that nature cause chaos for countries. Somalia has caused us the chaos we see. This is Good Friday. This morning, a nice morning Friday. The program is called UNFILTERED, brought to you by Dr. David Matanga, live from the political command center of the world. We talk, the world follows. If you haven't seen, when we talk to here, Medium, give a credit because they will not give you a credit in Kenya. We are the people who suggested to Mutahe Kagwe that use a system of locator number. Didn't we say so, Miriam? If we don't say it, Mutahi Kagwe won't even send you greetings. It's a saying as a Christian. There is nothing bigger in Christianity than coming to say thank you. Am I wrong, Miriam? You are a very good, staunch Christian. And when somebody comes to say, thank you, my daughter, you feel happy than being given money. When you save a person who could have drowned, in Christianity, we say, thank you. When a person comes, that person is your friend. So good morning, Africa. We come back to Burundi, a tiny country that has stabilized. A tiny country that has left ICC. A big country with a big economy in East Africa struggling to be one leg in ICC, one leg in Indian Ocean. Sorry. What a sorry state. Indecisiveness. Oh, this morning I'm in the mood. Indecisiveness. Kenya is still in the ICC. Eh? Up to now, you are waiting for more, and you are gearing up. The president is saying, let's have a good election. What? Mr. President, do you know the people you are talking to? The people you are talking to yesterday there are different from the people who are saying, do I look like you steal my vote? Do I look like you can steal my vote? Mr. President Uhuru Kenyatta, address that guy and address him. Do I look like I can be mimi ndio mtu anaweza kuibia kura? Huyo ndio Ruto. Ruto anasema namna hivyo. And Mr. President, that Kadina was very good. Although I smelled it from View Sasa. Nilikulia kwa View Sasa. Ako kalanchi kalikuwa kasawa. Lakini iko mtu moja mzee. There is one man. Miriam, tell me this word. How do you break the legs? Your legs have been broken. Then you walk near a border. How did you walk? This morning, Unfiltered, the show, we shall bring all this. You said the legs were beaten naked, thrown naked. Tawish, when you find a naked person in the bush, what do you do? What's your first reaction? Mr. Tawish, I don't want to waste much of my time. Seconds are going. Open up. When you find a naked person in the bush, Sharon, what's your first impression? If Tawish is still rearranging his gadgets. Sharon, what's your first impression? Where Songa take it?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Matsanga. And of course, as an individual, I'll be really surprised. And the first thing to do, I'll be maybe looking for a way to dress him and cover him and all that. And
no, you are wrong. Today is Friday. I tell you the truth, Miriam. Before I hand you over this microphone, you find a naked person, be it a woman or a man, in the bush, naked. What do? What's the first impression?
I'll run away.
Tawish has come. Okay.
I'll run away. If it is me, I'll run away, Nectar.
Well, you got it right. Tawish, you got it right. Songa, you got it wrong, that you dress him up. Did you come with second clothes to dress him up? Wacha tuulizane wakeli. Nyenye usikue mtuambie wrong things. Itumbi says he was naked. But did the border man have second knicker, underwears, have underwear, vest, shirt to give him? Was this man prepared that he walked with 2 shirts? 2, he says his legs were broken. How did he walk to the nearest taxi? And above all, how did the nurses, women nurses, react when they saw a naked body? Or a man, male nurses who welcomed him? That pain, you are being rolled to where? You can't say you are still talking? Well, quick recovery, brother. Quick recovery. But if I become Colombo, you know, Inspector Colombo, there are things to piece up. Medium. That is the Africa that we have. The last country on the African continent, Sahawari, the Republic of Sahawari. Thank you very much for watching. This is Punchline Africa Television. The program is unfiltered. Take it away from us, medium. Take it away. There you are. I've warmed up. It is only Sharon whose sound I've not heard. Sharon, good morning.
Good morning to you, Doc. How are you?
Ask a question. When you find a naked person, man or woman, in a bush, what do you do?
Of course, I would not be quick to help. I think I would just go away. Yeah, because I don't know what kind of a person he is.
Thank you. You have got the answer right. The song says he runs into trouble. Thank you very much. Back to you, Miriam.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that opening, Doctor. So I'll just bring us quickly the headlines this morning. And on the Star newspaper, the main headline, Moi family embroiled in a 300 billion Kenya shillings battle, and coalition talk on a sunny afternoon on State House lawn. And we see that is the main pictorial, how Ruto is putting pressure on Raila in State House race, and post-mortem shows drug baron sought by Interpol was tortured. That is on page 3. And on the Daily Nation, the main headline, Azimio Uhuru Raila rally members of parliament. And President Kenyatta yesterday told a meeting of handshake MPs that the coalition's bill, which is currently before the Senate, will give Kenyans a chance to work together across the political parties in the national interest. He also took a swipe at his deputy. The story is on page 7. Of course, the main pictorial is President Uhuru Kenyatta addressing that gathering yesterday at State House, and why the African Cup of Nations is turning into a comedy of errors. That is on page 2. Musalia Mudavadi says, now I'm leaving the door open for possible coalitions. That is a special interview on page 4 and 5 by the Daily Nation. And end of an era, Harvey ousted at helm of LSK in takeover by branch chiefs. You'll find that on page 8. And Britain's Prince Andrew is stuck between a rock and a hard place of a US sex assault case. That is on page 24. And Magoha's radical measures to curb school unrest. And how Kenyans died of COVID as ventilators lay idle in hospitals. Okay. And then we turn our attention to the Standard newspaper. Mudavadi Kalonzo snub Uhuru's invite. Party leaders Mudavadi, Kalonzo and Wetangula are now show during President Uhuru and ODM leader Raila Odinga's 2-hour meeting with Azimio MPs, despite being invited, reportedly impacting on the day's agenda. The story is on page 4. And the betrayal cry, how Leakey brought down close allies. That is on page 10. Agencies still in dark over course of power blackout. That is on page 8. And insurance cancellations hit 10 billion Kenya shillings on page 26. AFCON mad by refereeing blunders. That is on page 42, 43, and 44. And then today I got another paper that is the Business Daily, and the main headline of the Business Daily that disquiet as state fails to pay oil subsidy in billions, and Nairobi's 500 million Kenya shillings plan for governor deputy homes, and formal dealers car sales rise to 6-year high, and warehouse receipts unlock loans for farmers, and also Kenya's passport eighth most powerful in Africa. So that is what we have on the leading newspapers this morning from Kenya. Doc, I don't know if I should just go ahead and read the ones from Africa, or you will do that before we get into...
Go ahead.
Okay, and so in Africa this morning, the Citizen from Tanzania's path to becoming East Africa's refinery center. That is the main headline. Hope for wheat farmers as market open ups in DRC. That's wheat farmers in Tanzania now might be benefiting from that in the DRC. What Exim Bank's acquisition of FNB means. So that is what we have there. And on the Daily News, still from Tanzania, Samia issues key directives. That is the main headline. And the Guardian, that is from the UK, Queen strips Andrew of military and royal roles. And then the Daily Telegraph, still from the UK, Queen freezes out Andrew, the same story. And the Punch from Nigeria, Amotekun comes Southwest Forest for fleeing Northwest terrorists. So that is what we have. And the Guardian from Nigeria, US tightening policies, de-risking put Nigeria's economy on red alert. And Newsday from Zimbabwe, ZEC drops registration bombshell. And Daily News also from Zimbabwe, prevarication is the thief of time. Analysts warn deterring Chamisa as crucial elections beckon, and the new vision from Uganda, government to audit all district land deals. So that is what we have on the front pages of the leading newspapers in Kenya and indeed across Africa.
Okay, all right. Let's start. Thank you very much, Miriam, for all those headlines, and all of you have picked what you like in these papers. We want to talk. We don't want to go into longer stories. Mudavadi leaves coalition options open. Is there any salt in Mudavadi? Any salt left? Any of you can answer. Any salt left? Is there? He leaves that he is waiting for anything to come from even heaven or Satan or whatever. You know, is there anything, any salt left in Mudavadi? Anybody on the panel can say anything?
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Masanga. Let me take this opportunity to chip in on that. And as a person who comes from...
And cut it quickly, yes. Point. Yes.
Okay, Doc. Yeah, so as a person who comes from Western Kenya, I think Musalia Mudavadi is losing ground. Just the other day, more than 10 MCAs actually defected to ODM during the Buhungu declaration. We've had more than 4 MPs from ANC, and I believe they have 9 MPs in total. So 4 MPs or 5 MPs have already defected. So whatever leaves Musalia Mudavadi in Western Kenya is very much exposed. And that is why he's even unable to forge an alliance with William Ruto. Yesterday, I happened to meet one of the managers to the Kakamega Senator, and whatever intelligence was getting is that Musalia Mudavadi had negotiated for a 5 billion deal with William Ruto as well as the deputy president slot. And whatever UDA was telling him is that you do not have these numbers. Your numbers have really gone, so we cannot work with you. And that is the same thing even if he goes to Azimio's side. He's just going to be there as a bonus, but not as a negotiating principle. So I believe he doesn't have any salt at that moment, Dr. Masanga. I submit.
Thank you very much. Mudavadi's face and morphology looks like he's a man who has no brain. Am I right, Tawish? The brain is there, but it doesn't work. Anybody who has studied body language. Tawish, are you on the show or not? Sharon, Mudavadi, to me, and Miriam, looks like he's a man whose brain does not work. It functions halfway. It reasons tomorrow. It goes back. What do you think about Mudavadi? is asking for 5 billion. Is saying he wants a slot. What do you think? If this intelligence that is coming out, what do you think?
Okay, I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sharon.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Matsanga. And, I agree with you. And I think for Mudavadi, he's waiting to, he's a candidate that is waiting to be compromised and, acting like someone who's waiting for manna to fall from heaven. And, Daniel Wesonga has outrightly put, about, the level of defections that have been experienced, in the Western region. And I understand Kakamega has 12 constituencies and ANC has 5 MPs. And as we speak, 3 of them have already joined up, the Azimio la Umoja. And almost 3/4 of the MCAs now belong to Azimio. Out of the 4 Jubilee MPs, 1 actually surrendered his political ambition to, for his own personal reasons, and 2 actually ended up joining Azimio, leaving only 1 now in, ANC. And, when I look at Oka at large, when you talk about Ford Kenya, that I believe was once at the tip of the spear, is now split. Look at, the launch of the Democratic Action Party that is said to actually, be, forming having coalitions with the Azimio la Umoja. When you talk about someone like Kalonzo, Eastern is now a mirage because all the governors are now singing to the tune of Azimio la Umoja. You could not even garner up, the Ngu Masumba ward. So, and equally with KANU. So the kind of chest dumping and, bloated egos by the principals is actually going to create a disintegration even in their future political matrix. And yesterday, so as I conclude, yesterday Daniel said the small rivers join, big rivers. And I think that is what at this time is meant. That is what they actually need to do right now. Thank you.
There is no big river that joins a smaller river. Thank you very much. On a Friday, thank you very much, Sharon, for that, reminding us on that proverb. Big rivers don't join smaller rivers. Tawish, you seem to be in uncoordinated troop movement. Your chance came, it went, it is coming, it's going.
I'm here, Doctor.
How are you? Tell us more about him. Just quickly, what do you think about Mudavadi? Is he real man or not, or half man?
Thank you so much, Daktari. And I think yesterday when we are having our show, I did say that the worst thing that you can ever do in life is being indecisive, is being selfish and being untrustworthy, or the element of mistrust. And I think those 3 aspects really define very well Musalia Mudavadi, and I think almost the rest of the One Kenya Alliance principles. Mudavadi and the Oka principles have been trying to play hard in terms of reaching out to other partners in especially in the Azimio la Umoja, because we understand Raila Odinga has been making overtures, trying to reach out to all these principles to come together and work under the Azimio la Umoja so that they can form a very big or a huge political juggernaut as we head into this coming general election. But because the likes of Mudavadi are selfish, they think it is their time to contest for presidency, it is their time really to be given the chance to vie for presidency. I do not think, Dr. Masanga, that if we are honest and sincere enough, Musalia Mudavadi and almost all of the One Kenya Alliance do not have the necessary apparatus to be able to mount a very serious presidential campaign. And by the end of the day, what we know, they only but have to join either former Prime Minister Raila Odinga bandwagon or Deputy President William Ruto. As it is, they do not have a huge following that can command or even upset the current status quo that we have.
Yeah, a smaller river to join a big river. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Let's move on. We are looking at the newspapers. Anybody who picked something that you want us to talk about?
Yeah, I think we could talk about the issue of Nelson Harvey, having been ousted. Yeah.
Yes. Start it for us.
Yeah, for me, I think this is something that was quite commendable. And, if this is how we are going to be dealing with egocentric and myopic leaders, it's actually going to be a step into the right direction. I remember when, Nelson Harvey joined UDA, and he was quite audacious enough to say that he would actually not represent anyone who is not, singing or, the language of the UDA. And looking at his political ambitions, and now that he wants to, vie for Westlands MP, how is it going to turn out for people that, for people to actually vote for him, yet he does not want to represent them? So if we actually evaluate him with the scorecards at the LSK, I think that is actually going to be one of the, an end of an era. And anyway, let's wait and see. And I think I am proud of what finally LSK has been able to do. And I take this opportunity to welcome the incoming lady. She's called Linda Kiome. She actually comes from my hometown. I think this is another big for women, and especially the women that have been taking up spaces at the helm of leadership. And I'm hoping that she's actually going to restore back the sanity that has been lost to the Law Society of Kenya. Thank you.
Is it a year for people from Meru and
yes. It is
to take over the whole judiciary mechanism? As a yes or no?
Yes.
Wow. Thank you very much. We are not complaining about tribalism here, but let's move on. It's UNFILTERED show. Daniel Wesonga, what comments? For me on Harvey, I have a lot to say. I will not say it here. I will leave it to God to say. Because for me and Harvey, we never saw eye to eye. And I wish him very bad luck in the Westland constituency. I wish he lost his deposit. This is UNFILTERED show. Don't hide. I wish Harvey lost his constituency miserably and the license for practicing removed because he's a Congolese.
He's not going to get it, Dr. Matsanga. I can assure you.
Harvey is from Democratic Republic of Congo. But because systems here, someone, there are people who insult me, but I've never bought a Kenyan ID. If I wanted to buy a Kenyan identity card, I would call myself Wesonga Musungu. Because Wesonga Musungu and me, we come from the same border point. Yes.
In fact, you need not even to buy it, Daktari. If you really wanted to transform into being a Kenyan citizen, this far, you really qualify to be one.
Yes,
and I think it is just by
I've lived here for more. I've done work. I have helped a country. But I've never gone into this stupidity of fraudulent acquisition of identity cards.
Yes, and you realize that some of these people cannot even speak Luya language. Someone like Nelson Harvey, I've never seen him speak Luya language. Someone like Cleophas Malala. But come to Dr. Matsanga David, we always speak. Most of the time I'm with Dr. Matsanga David, perhaps maybe to our viewers, we always speak in Luya language. And the fact of the matter is, in the Kenyan side of the country, we have lesser Bukusus than we have the Bagishus who are Bukusus on the Ugandan side. So to me, I believe Dr. Matsanga David is more Kenyan than Nelson Harvey and Cleophas Malala, who are always.
No, let me teach you. You have more. You came this way and left us the original kingdom. We are the kingdom. Because every culture of yours that you get is got from our place.
True.
You can't do anything without coming to our place for permission. There is no lawyer who can even practice marriage ceremony if we have not blessed it from the mountain across in Uganda.
From the other side and then crosses the border, Mount Elgon and all the way to Bungoma, Zoya and all that.
And up to Vihiga.
Yes.
You have nothing you can do. If you don't recognize, look at my face and look at us. I'm from that kingdom. That is Umukuka.
Yes.
My clan is the Umukuka clan. So you must come to us, ye. We give you salvation, ye, and you go. So if Mudavadi is disagreeing with us, that's why you see Natembea is real Natembea. Natembea is from my place. The name Natembea, those are people from out Wetangula, Natembea, Waruke. These guys are from, it's an imaginary border that was put there. But the people, you find them saying, oh, you are Ugandan, as if they are the English people who drew the border. Thank you very much. Let's push on. Any other topic that you see before we come to the topics that we have lined out for today?
Yes, maybe Dr. Matsanga, just to finish up, on Nelson Harvey, I truly support you that he had become errant, and the fact that he was taking our LSK to Qatar.
Miriam, dear, you're upside down. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Matsanga. My final thought on that is that our Law Society of Kenya was being taken to Democratic of Congo, where William Ruto has been dealing in illicit minerals and stealing the minerals of the country and all that. So to me, I believe this new team is going to bring the vibrancy in the LSK that was missing. And Harvey can now have the leeway to go and push the wheelbarrow as he tries to vie for the Westland seat in vain. And I know he's not going to get that particular seat. Aluya voter of today is so much awakened and they cannot do the wheelbarrow. Dr. Matsanga, maybe just yesterday we were in some committee which was actually evaluating the ground analysis of the entire Mulembe nation. And they said, if you go there preaching the wheelbarrow nonsense, you're gonna be evicted and ejected back to where you're coming from. So for Nelson Harvey, I believe the people of Westlands will be able to send him back to the sender. I submit.
Thank you very much. Viewers, Miriam, are you back? Or you are still organizing your gadgets? Thank you very much. Good morning. This is the Unfiltered program bringing you all the fun on Friday. It's Friday 14th January, the year of our Lord 2020. Thank you very much. What do you have for us? AFCON. One thing that has piqued my mind, that has made my heart happy, is the Kenyan referee, a professor of mathematics. Miriam, you are back. A professor of mathematics is a referee in Cameroon on AFCON. I had said on this show that I will not look at these games. And I was right when I told you rebels will strike. Again, Miriam, am I wrong? Am I Mugo wa Kibiro? Rebels struck. I told you there is no way you can practice anything. You want to say something, it's killing you. Say it.
Yeah, well, Doc, we know that was expected. We know the rest of, region there in Cameroon. So I know that was expected because they will try to make a statement during this very important event that they know that the whole world is looking and is watching. So that, I mean, them causing some bit of a problem there was expected. So we just hope that the players, there, the visitors there are safe. I think that is our prayer. And yeah, sorry, I had a bit of a technical hitch. So I seem to have missed a lot of that very important conversation you've been having.
The issue of Nelson Harvey.
Yeah, and before you got to the issue of Nelson Harvey, I think my problem came when we were talking about Musalia Mudavadi. And I think you're asking if he has a brain. I believe he does have a brain. What I question is his strategy. It appears he's not really been studying and learning the politics of this country now, and it seems to be right now his trusted lieutenants have left him. They've joined other parties and other coalitions, so he does not even have a bargaining power. That is something that he doesn't seem to have. And from the headline we read in one of the newspapers that they snubbed the invite by President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday at State House. I think perhaps it's about time that President Uhuru Kenyatta just let this politicians do whatever they want to do and continue with his journey with the like-minded politicians, because you can't keep wanting to bring in somebody who is not interested, to join you. So maybe President Uhuru Kenyatta needs to just wash his hands and just leave the rest of everybody else who does not want to join the Azimio La Umoja or the team that they're trying to form, and let's see what they have now. If they're left by themselves, let's see what kind of a move they will make that will be best for them.
I think that is a very good advice for His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Time and time again, we have begged these guys to come on board. They seem not to come on board. Is it time for us to stop the begging and start the work? You can let them do what they want. If they have the money to run the campaigns, it is up to them. If Mudavadi looks, is going to, definitely Mudavadi is going to end up with Ruto. And is going to end up with Ruto with very diminished returns. He has nothing to deliver there. The whole of Western region, if Ruto thinks he will have votes coming from Western, he will just have to have tears. The nearest he will get is from a place called Tarubo, which is nearing Rugari and Webuye. But he might not get votes. In the core is Bukusu area. It's going to be difficult. The Rio Bukusu area and the Vihiga. Mudavadi cannot win a seat of a chairmanship of a DIP in Vihiga. If you are looking for chairman MCA, he can't win. His own place, he cannot win. So it is he. He's a man who is just, you can see from his body language, oh, Malala can go and do what he wants to do. A man, the guy, let me tell you Kenyans, why I don't like him. Mudavadi, I want you people to understand why I don't like Mudavadi. Mudavadi's behavior. One day we are in Club Afrique, in a VIP hall called Club Afrique, which used to be here near the Museum Hill. A waitress came crying. I had come from London. This is 2002 or 2003. They were in a club of Mr. Amayo. Mr. Amayo is my friend for a long time. I came there with Sky News representatives, Miriam. A waitress came to the VIP. She was crying, tears were going down. Then I asked the waitress. I was with the Bazungu, my Stuart Ramuse, and the others we had come to do. We are on our way to Johannesburg. And the woman was crying. Why? He said, the boss, that boss there took a date here for a long time. And it came to about 14,000 shillings. And I get a salary here of 8,000 shillings by then. 8,000 shillings per month. And this woman, so I looked at the woman, I said, so what is the amount that is making you cry? The woman said, he has drunk for 14,000. And every time he comes here, he tells me it will be paid, it will be paid. And today the supervisor told me if he doesn't pay you, then you will not get tomorrow's salary. You know what I did? I still have the bill. Because for me, I don't keep, when I don't like a person, I don't throw away evidence. Miriam, I paid 14,000 shillings for Mudavadi. A waitress You look at the poor lady who had 4 children, 2 of the sisters and herself 2. She's paying school fees for them. You have taken her 14,000, drunk like a horse. And they say you are the kingpin of royal land. So that's the man you want. From that day, I'm sorry, Miriam, I ran away. So I never trust such people. Coming back to our topic, AFCON, the ref, the Miriam, have you finished? Yeah, you haven't made any comment on Harvey, but you can make it in the next. AFCON, the ref, the Kenyan ref, any comments from you? I find as we talk, the studio bring back the picture of this Kenyan professor who is a ref, a teacher of mathematics. Studio, we want people to see him, a teacher of mathematics, doing the AFCON. Is it coming or not coming?
Yes, and maybe just to comment on the same AFCON, Dr. Matsanga.
Go ahead.
Yes, I think that is an evidence that Africa is actually rising. And in terms of football, we actually have the capacity to do well. The other day, we had a lady center referee, the first lady center referee to be a ref in Africa.
Please don't bring that. What is Africa rising? What is Africa rising where?
Dr. Matsanga.
No. You can't. No, let's make. Today is Friday. Where is it rising? Africa can only rise if it can sponsor AFCON itself. Who is sponsoring AFCON medium? Total Oil. Why is it being sponsored? A war-torn area. And then you tell me Africa is rising.
Okay.
Which terms?
I was to explain my proposition.
Yeah, quickly, explain to us. You know, for us, are annoyed with such statement of Africa is rising. Why is it rising?
Dr. Matsanga, the individuals, I believe Cameroon was the worst choice for AFCON. I believe even the sponsors of that particular tournament are the worst coup initiators in Africa. But the individual success of these Africans who are showing extraordinary talent in these is what I'm actually celebrating, and especially for the woman and this mathematics professor from Kenya. These are people who can be able to officiate even international games. That is what I meant.
You meant a very wrong thing. How do you go to... When Songa don't disappear, look at my face. When I'm telling you Africa, don't disappear, rising, going where? Where is it going, Miriam? Where is Africa going? Africa is going nowhere. You are playing football that has been sponsored by somebody else. And you call me, you are going, you are growing, you are rising. What rising is this? Tawish, tell me the rising temperature.
But before Tawish comes in, I will support Daniel Basonga on this one, because Total is a company that we have across Africa. It does business in Africa. We go and fuel our
guys.
There
we go. Yeah. There we go.
Not fueled in Total, or you'll see this is Total. It's a French company, so you'll just skip it, and your car is running out of fuel and go and fuel in Shell or petrol station.
Yes.
But the fact remains that it is invested in Africa. It has companies in Africa, and Africans are benefiting from employment and all those opportunities that Total has brought in the continent and indeed across the world. So if it wants to give back and sponsor a very important tournament before we get our own to do that, so what's wrong with that? Because it does business here and we consume. And you know, that the same business it does. We benefit from that as it benefits as well.
Medium, that those are two against one. Let me hear from Sharon, then come to Tawish. What's your view? Africa is rising with a football sponsored by Total Oil. You have no money to sponsor even a football match, and you tell me you have more money to spend on corruption than a football match, then you tell me Africa is rising. It is like a Democratic Republic of Congo saying the elections were free and fair when they borrowed money, yet they have money. Sharon, Miriam and Wesonga are on board together. Say Total Oil is good to sponsor our football. Football.
Yeah, I fuel at Total Oil. So if I fuel at Total Oil and he wants to take part of that money and sponsor the football in this continent, why not?
Our football, our players,
our African headquarters,
our legs.
We can't take care of.
After taking from us, you know what Miriam is talking is like a Ruto. Miriam has become Ruto.
That's a very high.
No, you go and steal from the local people through corruption and deals made through your people, with Tawish or the Sisana. And then you come back and say, 100 billion, 50 billion, I'll give you. You dish out money from their own people.
I've not had the government of Kenya complaining that Total is doing illegal business in this country. I've not heard that. Until I hear that,
Total is doing illegal things across Africa. What affects Africa affects Kenya. And therefore, very soon, Miriam, you and the Wesonga, you will see the danger that Total is going to create in Turkana. Let's proceed. Sharon, give your views. I don't care being alone. Remaining alone is not a problem.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matsanga. And of course, I think I fall in the bandwagon of my colleague panelists that have spoken earlier. And indeed, Cameroon was the worst choice for AFCON, given that it is a failed state, with no grain of leadership or governance. And my biggest concern has been on their safety and, amidst the upsurge of security and, with the issues of COVID-19, that has been my biggest issue. But now coming to the issue of Total, I don't think there's any problem with them actually sponsoring AFCON. It is widespread all over Africa, and they are not just a stranger. I mean, it's one of the leading supplier of petroleum and gas in the East Africa region. So I don't think there's actually a problem. It's one of the ways to even give back for them. We have promoted them long enough. So I don't think there's any problem with that.
And you know what? Are you Pan-Africans or you are?
Yes.
Are you Kenyan?
But Doc, can you imagine if Total today shuts down?
Kenyan.
How many people are going to lose employment?
Then why can't you vote for Ruto?
No, but this is I think this is quite
you vote for Ruto, and Miriam and Wesonga vote for Ruto. Because Ruto steals from you, then it comes to sponsor programs.
Then let's close Total Oil across Africa. Let's close that company and make it cease operation in the continent.
For me, okay, let's hear from Tawish. You have a point, 3 against 1. Tawish.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ari and colleague panelists. I think, Dr. Masanga, I will agree with you. And of course, what my colleagues are saying, this is going to be a very controversial kind of debate, depending especially on where one sits. And particularly, I think on this question, I will blame the African continent and the African people themselves, because we should be asking us, why is Total, for instance, is the chief sponsor of this particular very critical and important tournament in the continent of Africa? We've gotten to that level. They say, Dr. Masanga, unatupa mti na jongo wake. There's no way we can castigate French, for instance, and say Total is good. If French is bad, if French are the chief instigators, say, of the coups and of course toppling of governments in the African continent, then I do not understand why the African people and African continent will easily then embrace Total and even their investment. Although, of course, the argument that has been advanced by my colleagues is that we need to differentiate between the two, given that Total is is just a business entity. They are carrying out their businesses in the continent of Africa, and making sure that they are doing this within the confines of the established laws that guides, of course, the putting up of their businesses that they are running in the continent of Africa. But as to how they are using the same dividends, how they're using the same proceeds to come and divide the continent of Africa, or even initiate and instigate coups, is a different ballgame altogether. It is therefore important, Dr. Masanga, that the African leadership and the African people are challenged to be self-reliant, to be independent enough, so that they are not being used by the French or even any other external forces. Because again, we will not have an option, we will not have an escape route as the African people, as long as we continue to rely on the French, as long as we continue to rely on a few tokens coming from the Total. Then we must be equally ready to accept everything that the consequences that comes, of course, with this kind of support and sponsorship that comes from Total and generally the French government.
Thank you. We are 3 against 2.
But I think Tawish is leaning on is sitting on the fence. He's tried to,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are 3 against us. You can
Tawish is talking from the fence.
Yeah. He's been talking from the fence. He's supported both.
Yes, go ahead.
Not necessarily that I'm sitting on the fence on this particular matter. I was just challenging the African people and the African administrations that all along we've been castigating the French administration and other external forces of meddling with our internal affairs here in the African continent. And I think the French has been adversely mentioned, and so is Total, because again, they are the ones who have invested so much in the African continent, especially in the oil and gas sector. And therefore, if we are blaming Total, if we are blaming French, the question is, why do we permit them? Why do we allow them more admission and even more advances in the African continent, even if it is on the business frontier? I think that is what I was trying to submit.
Thank you very much. These are the facts. And I rest my case, Minority Report, which Miriam will be happy about. 3/4 of the
Minority Report.
Yes, I'm writing a Minority Report because the majority have taken, they say, I'm not going to oppose. I'll lay my grounds why I think Total Oil should not sponsor any function on the African continent. Why? It creates the wars. The first war in Africa was 1967, sponsored by Total Oil. 2 oil companies, Total Oil and the Shell BP, sponsored the Nigerian Biafran War. Yakubu Gowon versus Ojukwu. Millions of Nigerians died, displaced, property destroyed. Total Oil today in Nigeria watches when Nigerians are being killed. It siphons the oil, it takes the oil, it doesn't help. Why does it come to help us in football? Do we eat football? Miriam, do you eat football? Sharon, do you eat football? Do your eyes, after seeing a football match, get satisfied and sleep hungry? And then you tell me Total Oil is sponsoring you to football. Why can't Total Oil sponsor us with food, with good houses in the Delta region of Nigeria, where it is drawing shell? Total Oil is taking out all the oil. 3/4 of the countries of French speaking are at a war, at a war, at a war. It has expanded to English speaking countries. Where they are playing football itself, it is Total Oil taking the oil from Cameroon. Do you eat football? Let's go to Libya. Where Libya is bleeding, Total Oil is taking oil. Do you eat Libya, or do you sympathize with the people of Libya? Total Oil went to Mozambique. It went on digging the wells of Mozambique of hot spring. Are you not seeing the conflict there coming? Soon coming. It is here. Total Oil is in Turkana. Give me 5 years. Turkana might not be a place possible. The week that was. So, if you are Pan-African and you confess to be a Pan-African, stick to the lane. If you are a half African and a half French, stick to that. But my minority report is submitted. There is no way I can have an African football match, a bonanza for the entire Africa, being sponsored by Total Oil. And then I am happy after 60 years of independence. I am very sad. I submit Miriam and the panel and all of you. Let's move on. Let's move on. You have won that one. Let's see the second one. Yeah, you have any comment, Miriam?
Yeah, and Doc, I agree with you. It's a shame. We should be able to take care of our affairs in this continent, and that is a shame that we are not able to do that. Was it be it being sponsored by Total Oil or any other company from outside the continent? I think it's a shame. And this is one of the events that brings glory to this continent. We get to celebrate who we are and our talents, and the fact that we cannot sponsor that, I think that is a complete shame. So I completely agree with you in that regard. But the fact remains that we are unable to sponsor ourselves. So now what do we do? That's the big question.
Now you are modifying your majority. You are now modifying your majority.
No, I'm not modifying, because if Total Oil has its footprints in a lot of things that is happening in this country, that is in this continent, that is not okay. But the fact remains that we have allowed it to carry out business, to continue this business in this continent. So if we really have a problem with it, then maybe we don't need it in the continent. But if we continue to allow it to do business in almost all the states across Africa, then, I mean, what do we have to complain about? Because we have allowed it.
Thank you. Any further comments on the majority report?
The Speaker of the Majority Report has spoken. We can go on.
Okay, let's move on. Item number 2 on our agenda today, unfiltered, is the type of lies by the Deputy President bring up that a bizarre and weighed promises made by Deputy President William Ruto. He said youth initiative wheelbarrows, he'll put 100 billion. Coastal hustlers will put 10 billion. Mama Mboga and the Boda will give 150 billion. Hustler Fund, 29 billion. Bottom up, 200 billion. Big Four agenda, 100 billion. Kiambu residents, these are the things he has been making. And me, I'm a researcher. I keep follow this guy here. Since he took Mr. Harun Ayadin, a terrorist, to Uganda, I started following him. Because this terrorist to Uganda must be linked to other terrorists. So I am very keen on Ruto, every movement he makes. Big Four agenda, he said 100 billion. Kiambu residents, he told them, don't worry. Here is where Kenyatta has left you. I will invest 50 billion. And then he went further. Hey, my God, what a biashara ndogo. Another 50 billion. Then he said musicians, another 50 billion. Then he says wale wanakimbia sports, wambio. You know, he comes from a place. What are they called?
The athletes that bring glory to this country. What does it have for them now?
50 billion.
Okay.
The total is 929 billion that Ruto is telling lies that he has it. He will give to the people. Now, this is half of the budget of Kenya. If we are going to give to specific places, where will hospitals get the money? Production, bring that chart on the floor for everybody to see. The type of lies. What type of lies are these? And I was telling Medium in the previous comment that Total Oil steals from Africa. Then he comes back to say it will make football good for us. Such a football match, David Matsanga, if it was not the Kenyan ref who caught my eye, I would not have opened my TV. I would have watched another thing altogether. That's what Ruto is promising you. You are Kenyans. Can we discuss? Briefly, points. Beginning with Medium. Tell me.
I think perhaps my biggest problem. Yeah, because those are too many figures. He's been, every time he goes to a place, he keeps bringing in new figures to different, interest communities and groups in the country. If should he be elected as the president? So I sort of lost track. I'm even surprised that you have that list. For me, I got confused at some point and I lost track. But perhaps my biggest question is, fine, he's promising all these things. Once he's elected, he'll dish out these monies and the government will provide and all that. But he has a problem with the 6,000 that Azimio la Umoja, Raila Odinga is saying, is proposing that he'll be giving to, every household that is underprivileged financially. And so if he's been asking where will that money come from, but when you look at what Azimio is promising and what Ruto is bringing to the table, Ruto seems to be wanting to bring so much money. So I don't know, why does he have a problem with what Azimio is saying in terms of what it will do in terms of providing for this 6,000 per month and all these billions of Kenya shillings that he's planning to be dishing out? So perhaps that is where I have a problem. We can't hear you. You're muted.
Some of Total Oil is coming to haunt you. The Total Oil,
Total Oil
is coming to haunt you.
To haunt who?
You, it is coming to haunt you and Sharon and Wesonga.
It's you.
Yes,
we can't
Tawish.
see. We can't see your face, Doc. So perhaps Total, I don't know.
Okay.
Go ahead. Tawish.
Total Oil want to take away. Your video is off. It is on now. So you tell me, there you are. The man says he has 929 billion. Every time, I don't know which lie he's going to say today in Rosambu, where my friend Tawish is somewhere there. He lives around where he is going. Today he's in Thika, TRM, and those areas, lying people. Is this visible? 929 billion. Tawish.
It's not, Dr. Masanga, Deputy President William Ruto has fashioned himself as a man of empty rhetoric and sloganeering, a man who does not live by his words. And I think if we are to judge him as per his record, as per his past record and as per his past pledges and promises that he made to the people of Kenya, then there's nothing new that Kenyans should be expecting from Deputy President William Ruto. I mean, he's the man who stood on the podium and outrightly lied to Kenyans that we'll be building international stadiums in each of our 47 counties. And I think your guess is as good as mine, really, if we have any of the, of course, the international stadiums having been built this far. It is the Deputy President William Ruto who was promising the young people in this country, especially those who are educated, that they will be able to get jobs, 1 million every year. And maybe if we are to just go and do an audit, how many jobs have been created this far? And this can largely be attributed to his, of course, incompetence, his disloyalty towards President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the administration that is serving as the second in command. And the only thing I would have expected Deputy President William Ruto really to mention, which is the biggest cancer and the biggest headache, the biggest impediment to the growth of our economy, to our young people getting employment, and even for this government to be able to operate effectively, is corruption. And in this case, I was expecting perhaps Deputy President William Ruto to come and tell us and tell the people of Kenya, and as part of his agenda, what is he going to put in place to make sure that corruption has been reduced, if not eliminated completely in this country? He knows he cannot talk about corruption because he's the chief architect of corruption in this country. That's why you see everybody who has corrupt cases is gravitating towards his axis. In itself, Dr. Masanga, this is a man who is known as an outright liar. Kenyans should not be fooled really to believe that there's anything Deputy President William Ruto can pledge or promise and eventually fulfill, even if he was to be elected in this coming general election. I submit.
Thank you very much, Sharon.
You know, it is a season for empty promises. Then I think at this rate, I would not really be surprised to hear the Deputy President promising people free oxygen just to get to the presidential bid, or even giving them a free ticket to heaven. Yeah, and Tawish has talked about the issue of the promise of international stadiums. And a while back, I asked a question: could actually it be the reason as to why we are not able to host international tournaments? Because you know, there's someone who's sleeping on something that he actually promised. And I think Kenyans are tired of empty promises, and let him actually do us a favor by giving us a comprehensive audit of his scorecard for the 9 years he has actually been in government. Apart from calling out and chastising the president and saying how much, you know, BBI has been an impediment to the Big Four agenda, Kenyans are honestly tired of empty promises and cannot be hoodwinked by, you know, the politics of euphoria. And you know, I think yesterday or 2 days before, he was also in some sections of Eastleigh saying that he's actually going to give you know, 100,000 houses. And my biggest question was I don't know if he has that land and where he's actually planning to put up these houses, because if memory serves me right, when he was actually in the Ministry of Agriculture, the ADC Mutara land that was meant for research was actually grabbed to a tune of around 15,000 acres. And, you know, when you talk about land with him, you cannot even exhaust, you know, the kind of allegations that, and, you know, some facts that have been put across him. As I conclude, you know, there's a story about a rich man in the Bible who once asked Jesus what he can actually do to see the kingdom of God. And Jesus told him that he has to sell all his earthly possessions and give the money to the poor. And then the man actually just walked outside. And, you know, Jesus was trying to explain how easy it is for a camel to even go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter that kingdom of heaven. I think the Deputy President should actually start by even donating some of his piece, you know, some of his huge hectares of land to the poor people. Then now maybe we can start from there. Thank you.
Again, total stealing from you, coming to host you a football match. There you are. I told you. Wesonga, the main proponent.
Because initially he has been giving 2 million, 5 million to these groups, but he says if he gets by, he's gonna be giving it to a tune of 50 billion, 100 billion. I think William Ruto is going senile. And to me, as someone who is trained in the field of finance, I believe for you to give that big amount of money, you will only have two options. Either one, you have to borrow more loans, or two, you have to grow industry in your country so that the industry is going to produce these large amounts of money, because basically that is more than a third of the country's total budget. And where is he going to be getting this money? Is Kenya like an individual who earns a salary at the end of the month? Basically, that is this amount of money. And William Ruto giving such an unrealistic figure, I think, an unrealistic figure, I believe he's just lying for people to be able to get their votes, and then thereafter, whatever happens is what he's known for: best corruption. I remember back in the day, Dr. Masanga, when we were in campus, when you are courting a beautiful girl, you will lie to them, even you're gonna buy them an carcinogenic thermos flask, all those fancy things.
I hope your wife is not listening.
So once you get the girl, you realize that all these promises.
And by the way, she's a lawyer, and be careful. Yeah, go ahead.
We shall not be intimidated. Yeah, so I believe that.
There you are. It's a Friday. Relax. Yes, make your point.
No, Wasonga has given a disclaimer. He said back in the day, back in the day. So Wasonga is not in any trouble.
Yes.
Miriam, don't encourage this scenario because it's dangerous. Back in the day.
He's not doing that now. He's given a disclaimer back in the day. It's cool.
Miriam touches things that are so deadly. I want to give you advice that please, ever in your marriages, don't ever mention anything of the past. No, Miriam, I'm telling you, you are my daughter.
Dr. Matanga, the statement is being retracted at the moment. Now let me proceed.
Better retract, because Miriam, you can't sit with your husband and say, yeah, look at that cowboy. Yeah, no. My friend, even the food on the table will go down. So I am giving very good advice. Please, please, Sharon, Miriam, Tawish, don't follow a songers that back in the days in the campus. You are creating a problem. You are creating a monster in the house. This will haunt you forever. I'm telling you. The woman will tell you that, okay, go back to that campus. Miriam is just taking you to fire. I don't know what problem is.
Yeah, statement and parties, Dr. Masanga.
Please, Tawish, also as you comment on these other things, comment on this, and Sharon, what is your view on this? On this Miriam statement, because this is Friday. You can't say those days I used to dance. Dance with who? If you are near here, don't tell people that you used to be near Napoleon. Please.
But Doc, you keep making reference to your past. You were tall and dimples and all that. It's okay. It's back in the day.
Yeah, but I have not said the tall and the dimples have a problem.
Okay.
But when I tell my wife that I used to go out with some Kenyan lady, it is chaos in the house. You can't say that, you know?
Disclaimer. Okay.
Yes, you can't. You can't. No man will accept you. The man will. Every time you have a quarrel, the man will say, so you are thinking of that university. So you are thinking of this. My friend, that one, inakuwa siri kufa nayo. Yes, continue.
Itaumana.
Itaumana. Miriam, uliza mzee hapo. Nasema, makati ulikuwa hapa, ulikuwa wapi? Mzee hawezi sema ulinionea wapi. Nani alikuambia? Ulisikia wapi? Nobody wants to bring those things. Sharon, please, you younger people, don't do that. Some of us have almost lost families.
All right. Back in the day.
Maybe as I conclude, maybe Miriam,
yes.
Just to maybe to conclude, I believe whatever William Ruto is giving there to Kenyans, out there to Kenyans, is just simple lies. And one of the panelists, I think Tarwish, has talked about the laptops and all the stadiums.
Sharon.
Oh, Sharon. Sharon has talked about the laptops at the stadia that William Ruto promised to the people of Kenya, which has not happened today. And Dr. Masanga, I happened to be reading this book by Chinua Achebe, which you recommended, No Longer at Ease.
Yes. First of all, before you go further, to show Miriam that I'm technically available, the character, the main, sorry, the main character in that book is Obi Okonko.
Yes.
So I can summarize it for Miriam in case